Tēnā koutou katoa. A very warm welcome to our presentation. Here's the research team. Joanne Alderson, McAlevey, Muni Narayan, and Sarah Williams. Kia inoi tātou. Manakitia, awhinatia, ngā ākunga, ngā kaimahi o te Kuratini tuwhera o Aotearoa. Kia tūtuki pai wā tātou tohenga, haumi e, hui e, taiki e.
The passion behind the research. The early childhood education sector in New Zealand offers teachers the opportunity to express, enable and exercise curriculum innovation within the daily teaching alongside the interests of children and families. The passion behind this research came from some of the ECE degree teaching team's awareness of innovation happening in the sector. The team regularly visits students on practicum at a range of early childhood settings across many locations in New Zealand. Through this work, we develop close relationships with the sector, often seeing innovative happenings in practice. However, we learned more how this is often location-based and tends not to be shared across the sector. So we developed a proposal based on the following research questions to explore innovation more, with an aim to be able to share it across the sector in New Zealand and worldwide. So the questions were: a culture of innovation. What factors shape how teachers use curriculum innovation? What is the role of self-belief in curriculum innovation? What is the role of relationships in curriculum innovation? And what is the role of context in curriculum innovation? So you'll see on this slide, and just thinking back to the questions that I've just shared with you, the research was focusing on exploring teachers' innovation and learning more about what this looks like, how it feels for teachers and the influences that drive teachers' use of this. And as said on the last slide again, it was around self-belief, relationships and teaching contexts. So we wanted to look more into what practices enable innovation to take place, with consideration of factors that drive and challenge such innovation, and the factors that made curriculum innovation successful. We were frustrated with the fact that great innovative work was happening, however this was not always being readily shared across the sector. We felt it was a missing part of the sector's evolution that fundamentally should be visible for all educators to see and learn from. It's also important to be visible in the world of transformational teaching that's happening across the world now, particularly as we embrace the rapid developments of information technology and climate change advances. This research has explored how curriculum innovations transpire across cultural contexts unique to teaching within a range of early childhood centres across New Zealand.
In this research, we asked our participants for their perspectives on curriculum innovation in early childhood services in New Zealand. A mixed method research was carried out using 2 research phases. The first phase involved an online survey, which ensured that we were able to reach teachers from all over New Zealand. A total of 2,700 questionnaires were sent out using SurveyMonkey, and out of this we received a total of 193 responses. The survey included 8 questions. 3 of these questions were of a demographic nature, 3 Likert scale type questions, 1 question asking participants of their curriculum strengths, and 1 open-ended qualitative question. An inductive reasoning approach was applied to analyze the qualitative question from this survey. For phase 2, we completed multiple case studies using a qualitative interpretivist paradigm. Semi-structured interviews have been carried out, including 6 individual interviews and 2 focus group interviews. These interviews were either carried out in person or virtually through Microsoft Teams.
For the quantitative survey in phase 1, we asked teachers 3 series of questions about self-belief, relationships and teaching contexts in relation to innovation. The findings show that for the teachers in this survey, having high levels of self-belief and strong relationships helped innovation to work well. There were 5 questions in each series, and I'm going to show you 3 slides based on teachers' responses. Each slide shows 3 figures whose sizes have been generated by their average scores for each series of questions. In this first slide, you can see 3 blue figures. Each figure represents a group of teachers from the survey. We asked teachers whether they currently use or had used innovation previously, whether they felt confident using innovation, whether using innovation builds their confidence, and whether they use innovation well. The first figure represents teachers who have been teaching for 1 to 5 years. The second figure is teachers who have been teaching for 6 to 10 years, and the third figure represents teachers who have been teaching longer than 10 years. Overall, the graph suggests that teachers in this survey have high levels of self-belief in relation to using innovation, but that self-belief wanes slightly over time. As teachers become more experienced, their self-belief actually drops off a little. In the second slide, you can see that all 3 figures are standing a little bit taller. Overall, there was a general consensus among the teachers who took part in our survey that their practices acknowledged the Treaty of Waitangi, their teaching teams supported innovation, centre families welcomed innovation, learners were active participants in their innovation, and learners benefited from their innovation. In this final slide, teachers agreed that their current teaching context welcomed new ideas and approaches, that their leadership team encouraged innovation, and there was also overall agreement that professional development opportunities supported teachers' innovative practices. However, we can see that the 3 figures are shrunk in this third slide. Why? Well, for teachers who responded to this slide, it was apparent that time and resources get in the way of teachers being innovative. You can see that by the time teachers have 1 to 5 years teaching experience, they're already feeling like there is little time for innovation. These results raise bigger questions about how teachers are supported in their work. A kindergarten in our study received COVID funding from the Ministry of Education to support Pasifika attendance. They held a whono to bring families together. During the whono, they talked about literacy and numeracy and including those in learning and play. But they also talked about celebrating their cultures, languages and traditions. Families were given a budget to plan for and celebrate their own Pasifika languages during language weeks. As you'll see in the quote, this had positive effects for everyone, including children.
In our interviews, our participants identified several barriers faced by teachers in their innovative practices. We have discussed these barriers using the 3 categories identified by Carles 2012. These barriers are either teacher-related, system-related, or service-related. The fear of change, of the unknown, combined with the risk of failure, deters many teachers from giving innovation a serious thought. Some of the respondents in our survey noted a reluctance from their colleagues to accept change as they continue to favour the existing practices and teaching strategies over the new and untried pedagogies. Lack of time, proper resources and professional learning and development opportunities have been identified as key system-related challenges. While some of our respondents were open to the idea of using new and creative ways of teaching, the passion and the drive to innovate often diminishes over time in all their efforts to keep up with the Ministry of Education rules and expectations. Financial constraints as well as staffing issues place further restrictions on teachers' ability to innovate in ECE. Lack of support from the management and leadership teams within the services also dampens teacher spirits when it comes to thinking innovatively with their different curriculum areas.
At the centre of innovation, it is the people and the community that matter. Here are some teacher voices sharing the purpose and outcomes of innovation. So a teacher voice, I think for educators it's giving them new learning which then filters down to the children by providing them with different learning opportunities and better learning outcomes than previously they would have had. Another teacher said, I believe teachers should share their professional development with parents and families, for example. I've started a blog and I am sharing my teaching of the curriculum with parents and families within our community. This has sparked curriculum ideas for parents and families, and they're adding to the blog, sharing them and their passions, and it's coming through in meaningful ways that supports the learning outcomes for children and their families. So to summarise, fundamentally we can start to understand that the solid foundations for the success of curriculum innovative practices include a bedrock of several layers of characteristics grouped with both philosophical and pedagogical principles. What matters is self-belief, meaning teachers feel competent and capable to explore beyond their usual practices. Plus the importance of the role of relationships and that teachers are committed to motivating not just themselves but other teachers as they collaborate in similar and unique teaching contexts that are inspired and enabled by their team's ideas and innovations speak in that further developing the curriculum in ways that's meaningful to their centre environments. So some key factors that support innovation. We'd like to leave you with some final thoughts that you can take away to share with the sector. We hope that these support and empower revolutionary ideas and innovative practices within the realms of curriculum innovation across early childhood education landscapes around the world today. So we have found that teachers are courageous, and that involves change and bravery and development of self-belief, and ultimately it results in new practices. Teachers envelop a spiritual energy that comes from working together. It's a sense of community, and that drives innovation. Teachers believe in inclusive opportunities developed through innovative practices. This is supported through effective listening, through reflection, openness to change, and care and respect for other colleagues' ideas. Teachers have shown confidence to use innovation, especially new teachers to the sector. Teachers realise different team skills help with a shared approach to innovation. So the spark of that creation helps the innovation to happen. Innovation happens when a team can trust one another and feel safe, when they slow down the train to make sure everyone is on the carriages, when they see that life's not stagnant, that they have the self-belief to make a difference for children and families and communities, when they recognise personality types and make room for these in the innovative space, when they take on ideas and listen and rumble, as a teacher said, with new ideas and not think that it is the only way that it has to be done. When they see the connection between inspiration and innovation and act upon it. When the leader in their setting, who's leading innovation, encourages them to join, and they join, and they feel valued, and the lead teacher feels valued. And finally, when as teachers, some teachers stated that, the job can get quite hard and they can feel heavy and it can make them feel down. So being supported in a path that helps to change that, where they feel empowered and they feel able to, that the contributions are worthy and they feel valued, makes a difference for them. So from the concept of creativity, that being the new idea, then curriculum developments happen within the space of innovation. And finally, these findings show that when teachers innovate as part of their practice, it enables possibilities for change and improved practices, all of which benefit children and their families. Innovation is challenging to conceptualise, and teachers struggled with how this was different to practice. However, they felt that innovation was happening and children and families were reaping the value and benefits of this. Through this research, teachers can learn about and visualise revolutionary ideas and practices of other teachers, and it's hoped that these teachers can feel inspired to be innovative themselves and transformational and progressive teachers in the future. It also must be said that innovation is a sector-wide responsibility that does go beyond the teacher role and centre environments and practices, and it does move into strategy and planning to maximise teacher skills and outcomes for children and families. So finally, on behalf of the research team, thank you for taking time to listen to this research. We hope this will inspire more exploration across the education sector about what drives teachers' use of innovation in teaching practice. Thanks everyone.